Hello, I am Ana Henríquez, Venezuelan-American filmmaker and writer. My book, Solentiname, Encountering a Myth, was awarded Best Art Book Bronze Medal at the International Latino Book Awards 2022. Here is a summary. It was the 1970s. Latin America was experiencing turbulent times. Leftist movements and military repression got stronger. In those days, the first Christian socialist movements were created, and the compatibility between them and Marxism was discussed. There were intense debates about where the Cuban Revolution was heading. It was a time of a great deal of political mobilization on the continent. It was during this period that Allende was overthrown and the subsequent Chilean tragedy that mobilized half the world. The peace treaty was signed in Vietnam, and two emblematic revolutionaries died, Neruda and Picasso. In this context, the controversial Nicaraguan poet and priest Ernesto Cardenal was invited to Venezuela. He was already a recognized poet and a committed revolutionary. I was a journalism student, and thanks to an article I published on his visit, Cardenal accepted my proposal to do a photographic coverage of the Solentiname community. "Where's that?" my mother asked when I told her about the trip. "In Nicaragua Lake," I responded self-confidently, as if the archipelago was around the corner. "And with whom are you going?" "Well, by myself." The trip seemed long and difficult. To get to Solentiname, I had to cross undocumented Costa Rica's border to reach Nicaragua. I kept this to myself because I didn't want my parents to worry more than they already did. So in 1974, I took a regular flight from Caracas to San Jose, Costa Rica, to start one of the most important journalistic coverage in my life. In San Jose, I stayed at a friend's house, and the next day I took a bus to Ciudad Quesada, one of the most important livestock product places in the region. At daybreak, I hurried to catch the small plane that would take me to Los Chiles, a border town situated about 10 kilometers from the southeast border of Lake Nicaragua at its confluence with the San Juan River. A few miles from the runway, sitting on a horse with another one saddled for me, a man sent by the renowned Nicaraguan poet José Coronel Urtecho was waiting for me. Together we rode to Las Brisas, a place in the middle of the rainforest on the Costa Rican side of the San Juan River, where the writer lived with his wife. I was eager to meet this important man of letters, who together with Ernesto Cardenal and Pablo Antonio Cuadra had promoted contemporary poetry in Nicaragua. They introduced colloquial verse and incorporated it into vanguard movements. A few days later, I took the wooden boat called Chalana that would take me to Solentiname, crossing the Great Lake of Nicaragua, or Cocibolca. It is not surprising that the first Spanish conquerors thought this lake was a freshwater ocean due to its big wave, view of only water on the horizon, and its sudden storms. I was amazed by this lake, one of the most important ones in Latin America and the 10th largest in the Americas. Due to a volcanic chain going through the lake, Ometepe, the most famous island, is formed by two awesome volcanoes. Not far away, there is Zapatera, which, like Ometepe, was an indigenous sanctuary. There are other small islands covered with palm trees and a variety of birds. Excited, intrigued, it is difficult for me to describe what I felt as the wooden boat was approaching Solentiname. It is composed of 36 islands and islets, the most important being Mancarroncito, San Fernando, La Venada, and Macarrón. On the last island, standing on the rustic dock, was Ernesto Cardenal, mythic figure, famous Latin American poet, Trappist monk, theologian, founder of the Christian almost monastic community of Solentiname. "Welcome," said Cardenal, with great simplicity. Then he guided me to the community. Solentiname was founded in 1966 and was made up of classmates from the Seminary La Ceja, Colombia, young locals, and very close families. The short tour started by the historic church. It was very small, with dirt floors, rustic wood benches, and colorful drawings decorating the walls. Then we visited the craft workshop, where all paintings and wood carvings were made that showed colorful landscapes of the islands for which many artists were recognized in Nicaragua and abroad. We also passed by an ample library where a photo of Thomas Merton, Cardenal's Trappist monk mentor, hung. Finally, one of the young locals guided me to my cabin. I see myself as a poet. That is my real vocation, Cardenal commented. My poetry has a social and political compromise. With great friendship and meditative silence, Ernesto Cardenal officiated Mass on Sundays where the day's gospel was discussed. This unique experience was related by Cardenal in his famous book, The Gospel in Solentiname. I came to this island looking for solitude, silence, meditation, and lastly God, who led me to other people, said Cardenal. In Solentiname, you were made to feel at home. Not by chance, Solentiname comes from the Nahuatl word Solentinamelt, which means place of many guests. The Solentiname community was an experiment to go back in history, a utopian dream. It endured for 11 years until in 1977 it was destroyed by Somoza's army after some youngsters from the community participated in an armed action with the Sandinista front. After he passed away in March 2020, Cardenal's ashes were laid to rest in Solentiname. The days I spent in Solentiname resonated in my memory. An important part of history was written there that I was privileged to witness and capture with my camera. 4 weeks had gone by since my arrival in these remote islands, and it was time to leave. I felt very happy for having completed my first journalistic photographic work, now ready to be published. What I did not know was that this would not be until several decades later.